Okay. Hello, my name is Michelle Arias, and today I'm going to talk about connectors of contrast and professions in a lesson plan. So, this lesson plan was created for students of third of baccalaureate, and it will be last for 5 minutes with an intermediate level of English. So, as first of all, um, with these lesson plans, students will be able uh, to identify the vocabulary about professions by listening descriptions of words in the listening part. In the speaking, they are going to be able to describe the vocabulary about professions by talking in class about it. In reading, they are going to be able to identify connectors of contrast to establish relationships between ideas by reading passages. And in writing, they are going to be able to use connectors of contrast to combine contrasting sentences and make comparisons. So, in this lesson plan, the main methodology that I'm going to use is the flipped classroom method, that it consists in that the student is the center of the learning. So the teachers are the guide, are guides to make that students have a significant learning by giving them the correct tools and materials, and of course giving them the correct feedback of the topic that they are learning. Okay, and also I like to mix with other methodologies, so to create a lesson plan that make that all students have a significant learning, because as you know each student has their own way of learning and they have different needs. So I like to try to cover all that I can. So with this flipped classroom method, I'm going to work with the direct method, communicative language teaching method, and task-based language learning method. Okay. The materials that we are going to use in this class are pictures of different professions. Also, I'm going to use papers with words of the unit. Of course, the student books and the presentation and a presentation of connectors of contrast. Also, the strategies in this class are the students are going to work individually and in group. Okay, so as an anticipatory set, the teacher is going to paste some pictures of different professions on the board, and she's going to ask to the students why it's important to study a career. Okay, this activity will last like 5 minutes, more or less. Okay, then as a warm-up activity, the teacher is going to write on the board the following 3 sentences. Okay, human workers can detect malfunctions in machinery. Likewise, a robot can program to detect equipment malfunctions. Other example could be the term rock music commonly refers to music styles after 1959 that were influenced primarily by the musicians, whereas rhythm and blues music styles were influenced primarily by black musicians. And the third one is both robots and human workers can detect malfunctions in machinery. So with these examples, students have to analyze all the 3 sentences and tell what is the function of the words that are going to be in other color. Okay, This activity have to do in work, because in the group they have to do in group, because all the integrants of the group are going to discuss what do you think is the function of the contrast connectors. That is the first activity where they are going to have contact with what is a connector of contrast. Okay, then in the listening activity, we are going to play a game. This game is going to call papers. So the teacher is going to divide the class into groups, and also there are going to be papers with words of the unit. So the teacher is going to have these papers in a bowl, and of each group is going to be one participant at time, and each student is going to have 1 minute to describe the more words of the ball that they can. Each group has to guess the word that is in the paper. Okay, the group that gets more papers in 1 minute is going to win. So with this activity, students are going to be motivated to learn more about professions, and they're going to be familiarized with the vocabulary of the unit, of course, and also they are going to listen the pronunciation of their classmates, and also they can practice their speaking. Okay, and the third activity, students have to read a passage about professions, and that is the exercise number 2 of the student's book in page 26, and they have to complete the exercise 3 and 4 of page 27. This activity is individual, and it will last like 10 minutes, more or less. So after that, the teacher is going to give an explanation about what is the connectors of contrast by using a PowerPoint presentation. Finally, students are going to open their student's book on page 27, and they are complete the exercise 5 and 6 using connectors of contrast. Okay, also this activity is individually. Okay, and of course in the last 5 minutes, teacher is going to explain to students the homework, and also is going to review the topic. So in the modeling, as you can see in the warm activity, when the students are going to analyze the 3 sentences and tell what is the function of the words, and they are improving the writing and speaking skills. So because they have to write until in the class, to the class, why they think is the function. What is the function of the words, of the connectors of contrast? Okay. Also in the game activity, they are going, as I said before, they are going to improve their speaking and listening, because with the game they can practice their fluency, their pronunciation, and their construction of sentences and paragraphs, and also they are going to listen to their classmates, their pronunciation, how fluently they speak, and if they understand what they are saying. Okay, and when they are going to do the exercise of the student's book, the exercise number 2, to read the passages, they are going to improve the reading. They have to read. They have to also, they are going to amplify their vocabulary, and because they are going to learn new words, and words that are related to the unit about professions. And also, when they are completing the exercises 5 and 6 of page 27 of the student book, they are going to improve the writing skills, and they are going to be able to use the connectors of contracts in a perfect way, using the correctly grammar structure of it. Okay, while students are going to do all these activities, the teacher is going to walk around the class, listening and correcting pronunciation, and helping in the writing exercise, or helping with a new word from the vocabulary. Okay. So in the warm-up activity, as I said, is a group work, and then the listening and speaking activity, that is the game. Also, there is a group, also is a group work, but the reading and the writing activity are individually. Okay, as you can see in the flipped classroom method, sometimes they work in groups and sometimes students work individually, but as you see, the teachers are the guide. They learn by their own. Okay, we are there to support them, to give them the correct tools, so they can achieve the goals of the lesson. Okay. So, as a homework, and they are going to choose 2 professions and are going to write a comparison between them, and using connectors of contrast at home. Okay, so the teacher is going to assess the students with the reading activity, because with it the teacher can evaluate their reading, their pronunciation, and the reading comprehension. Also, she's going to evaluate with the independent practice, that is the homework, because in this way a teacher can see if the students use the connectors of contracts and the grammatical structures of them in a correct way. Okay, so to close the class, the teacher is going to do a quick review of the topic by asking the students the student of each group to write on the board a sentence using a connector of contracts and underline it. So at the end of the lesson, students will be able to create sentences using connectors of contracts, and also they will be able to talk about professions and mix the 2 topics. Okay. Thanks for everything. I hope you enjoy it and you can apply it. Okay, thank you very much.